Welcome back everyone and channel members. Today I wanted to talk about something that might stir up a little bit of a friendly debate, which is why I prefer the 375 Vintage Collection scale over the 6-inch Black Series. In short, the Black Series just sucks.
Damn!
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I kid. Everyone's collecting habits are different, and while 6-inch figures might work for some, I feel differently, and 375 is the way. So hopefully this video will help you if you're new to collecting and deciding which scale is better for you. Now, don't get me wrong, the Black Series has some wonderful sculpts and character lineups, but when it comes to what I value most as a collector, action figures, world building, nostalgia, display flexibility, and vehicles, the Vintage Collection just wins out. Regardless, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I really want to hear what you have to say when it comes to Star Wars action figure collecting. But with all that said and done, don't forget to smash a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, or even become a channel member, and let me break down exactly why the 375 scale just makes more sense for me. Let's start with the history. The 3.75-inch scale is the original scale that defined Star Wars collecting. When Kenner launched the first Star Wars action figures in the late 70s, they picked that size not just for the affordability, but so that kids could imagine entire battle scenes and fit them on their bedroom floors, along with the classic Star Wars vehicles that we all know and love. And honestly, that same spirit lives on today in the vintage collection community. Whether you're a seasoned collector from the 70s, a prequel trilogy fanatic, or just taking your first steps into a larger world, it's a direct continuation of that legacy. I'm a collector and fan who inherited Kenner figures and vehicles, and that sparked a lifetime of curiosity and creativity. Even the card backs, which sport the original Kenner packaging, are a timeless collectible that sends a wave of nostalgia every time a Star Wars fan gazes upon a wall of vintage collection carded figures. So when I collect TVC, I feel like I'm part of something bigger than just molded plastic and points of articulation. It's a tradition of storytelling and imagination that goes all the way back to 1978. Now when it comes to articulation, people used to say, yeah, but the 6-inch Black Series figures just pose better. And sure, back in 2013 when the 6-inch scale launched, that might have been true, especially for a brand new action figure line that was getting state-of-the-art modern tooling, which was difficult to compete with when 375 was still for the majority a swivel hip figure line. But in 2025, not really. Modern TVC figures are incredibly well articulated, ball-jointed hips, rock-art ankles, and hinges at the knees, shoulders, elbows, and wrists empower these miniature works of art to achieve a variety of action poses on your collection shelves as they engage in battles across the galaxy. The difference in posing and range of motion between 375 and 6-inch Star Wars action figures is a lot smaller than it used to be, and the vintage collection scale continues to improve with each and every wave. It just has to be said that 375 action figure collecting has never been better when it comes to these all new characters that TVC fans have been seeing in recent years. Just take a look at some of the brilliant characters that have been released over the past few years, and what these action figures can achieve when they are put to the test. Whether you're into action figure photography, stop motion videos, or simply looking to have a Wizard Star Wars display in your home, 375 has a lot to offer. With each new vintage collection figure review that I drop on the channel, the posing segment is hands down one of my favorite parts of the video, simply because the impeccable quality, attention to detail, and overall aesthetics of each 375 figure is wonderfully highlighted by the articulated stances and body language. With a few exceptions due to repacks from early 2000s, the days of being looked upon as the old, outdated swivel hip figure line is no more.
Steadfast. Hit him with everything you got.
Let's talk army building. For starters, if you want to build a clone squad, stormtrooper platoon, or even just a small rebel cell for a collection display, you're gonna burn through your budget in the Black Series line. But with TVC, it's so much more affordable to pick up multiples. You can buy 10 or even 50 troopers and not feel like you're gonna need a second mortgage. Now, it certainly won't be cheap, but it's certainly obtainable. Even at the recent unfortunate and frustrating price increase of $20 a figure, TVC is much more manageable. Now don't get me wrong, I miss the days of army building $12 action figures. but fortunately Hasbro still offers the Army Builder 4-packs, which usually bring a small discount when compared to the carded mainline figure, which just goes to show that Hasbro understands the importance of 375 Army building. While price is a big factor in this collecting habit, space more importantly plays a key role. If you've ever tried to fit a full platoon of clones or stormtroopers in a detail shelf, you know where this is going. It simply works much better for TVC collectors, who can easily fit 8 to 10 figures in the space that 2 to 3 Black Series figures would occupy, and because of the smaller scale, it's also easier to display them in the classic trooper formation. It's like you're building your own mini battle scenes straight out of the Clone Wars, or recreating the Emperor's arrival from Return of the Jedi. 375 gives you so much more room to actually create depth, stacking troopers in layers, setting up vehicles behind them, or a backdrop to make it feel cinematic. And let's be honest, there's something incredibly satisfying about seeing an entire battalion lined up on your shelf. It makes the collection feel alive, like a snapshot from the Battle of Geonosis or the Death Star hangar from a galaxy far, far away. Meanwhile, the Black Series looks cool on its own with a small squad here and there, but once you try to army build at that scale, well, suddenly you're out of space and credits. So, if your dream is to recreate the 501st Carnage on Umbara, the Battle of Hoth, or the Endor Bunker Assault, TVC is the line that really lets you go all in. It's the perfect blend of affordability, space saving, and display potential for your troopers. Now, this is probably my favorite part. The Vintage Collection and 375 gives us vehicles. Real, big, detailed vehicles that work at scale with the action figures from our collections. The Razor Crest, stunning. The Legacy Collection AT-AT, a massive centerpiece for any collection. The Republic Gunship, come on, that thing turns your display into an actual Star Wars battlefield as troops debark for ground assault. And as of recently, TVC fans will be getting a newly improved gunship thanks to the successful HasLab campaign. In short, 375 was designed for harmony between action figures and Star Wars vehicles. Black Series, not so much. You just don't get the same level of immersive environments with large-scale vehicles, simply because it's not realistically feasible at 6 inches. They would be far too large if fully built out and in scale, and essentially take up an entire dining room table to even begin to scratch the surface of world building. Furthermore, the couple of items that were released as 6-inch vehicles just did not do well, and it's been stated that the formula just works better in 375. TVC is where the magic happens. Vehicles are what bring the world to life in our collection rooms. They're not just background props, they're storytelling tools for each shelf. You can have clones piling into a turbo tank, stormtroopers patrolling beside an AT-ST, or Luke climbing into his X-Wing, ready to take on the Death Star. It gives your collection motion and purpose, rather than action figures just standing there. Where's the action in that? Additionally, the size makes all the difference. You can actually fit these ships on your shelves, sometimes even stack them in multi-level displays, which is a big selling point if you don't have much room for a big collection. Another benefit of 375 vehicles and action figure photography is that you can build out a whole scene for your shoot. Troopers boarding, pilots gearing up, droids repairing hull damage. It's like you're curating your own miniature Star Wars universe without needing a large-scale studio to set it up. Meanwhile, the Black Series, you might get the occasional mini vehicle or deluxe piece, but it's more about the figures themselves. The 375 scale just has the complete ecosystem feel. You're not collecting just characters, you're collecting the world that they live in. And that's really what sets TVC apart. It's not just about displaying figures, it's about the world building. Creating a little slice of the Star Wars galaxy that feels alive every time you walk by your shelf display. You can feel the Force move through each and every creature, vehicle, and figure.
Commence primary ignition.
Would you rather have the front door or section of a building for your display? Or would you rather have a proper, complete hallway, building, or hangar for your collection room? Diorama builders, you know what I'm talking about. 375 has always been the way. TVC gives you maximum world building power in minimum space. You can build entire environments, Tatooine streets, Hoth hallways, Endor forests, or Jedi temples, and still have room left on the shelf to actually display the figures. In today's collecting world, Hasbro has offered quite a few playsets that help all collectors within the TVC community display their Star Wars characters in proper environments. Playsets like the Tantive 4 hallways, HasLab Cantina, Streets of Mos Eisley, Armor's Forge, and Moff Gideon's Imperial Light Cruiser hallway allow for the perfect amount of display while not taking up vast real estate. Sets like these are also perfect for action figure photography, as they are mini stages that can be set up and broken down quickly for photo ops, and allow any and all fans to join in on the fun. For my collection, I have a mix of environments that cover a wide variety of scenes from all parts of the galaxy, and for me, this is the essence of Star Wars collecting, creating an environment on my shelf that these action figures can interact in. It's something that has always resonated with me, taking it back to simple times when I would toss a pile of Legos on the ground, acting as debris for my stormtrooper to navigate as they hunted down the original trilogy heroes. Make the jump to Lightspeed and fast forward to today, and I have built an entire spaceport diorama for my Star Wars action figures to live in. Landing pads, cantinas, and dark alleys buzz with scum and villainy, bringing my collection room to life. Creating a full world like this in another scale would be quite the task and just take up way too much space in my opinion. So yeah, in conclusion, while I can appreciate what the Black Series offers for some fans, the 375 scale just works better for how I collect as a Star Wars fan. It's rooted in Star Wars history, just as easy to pose, easier to army build, and lets me create immersive dioramas with vehicles that actually make for a comfortable collection space. In short, if you live in a smaller space or just want to fit more into your collection room, TVC is way more forgiving, and with the increasing quality of figures and accessories, your displays can look absolutely amazing without taking over your whole house. That's why for me, the vintage collection isn't just the better option, it's the right one. But what do you think? Are you Team TVC or Team Black Series? Let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.